How you doing, YouTube? Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of Anniversary Part 2. In the form of Kane Brewing's 2557 Anniversary Ale. I reviewed and already posted their 2555 Anniversary Ale. That was their more traditional dark Belgian quad blend pseudo-Solera method anniversary beer they've been doing for many years. This is the second one they kind of dropped same day they did the anniversary. And this is a blend of barrel-aged porters and stouts. So I'm kind of excited for this one. I love not just when Kane blends beer, but I love when breweries blend beers. Don't get me wrong, I love when someone makes a beer, purposely makes a specific beer, puts it in a barrel, and drops it out, and it's tasty as F. But to me, it seems like the real beers really tend to shine when there's some deft blending involved. You know, Firestone Walker does it so well. Rushing Duck does it so well. There's a lot of breweries that do it well. Actually, there's not a lot. There's a select of breweries that do it quite well. And from the limited exposure of blends that I've had from Kane, mainly their anniversary series, they've done a pretty damn good job of it. So, kind of excited to dive into this one. Now, what does it say? 2557 Anniversary Ale, blend of barrel-aged porters and stouts, 10.2% alcohol by volume. 2557 is a blend of imperial porters and stouts individually aged in bourbon barrels we created to celebrate our 7th anniversary. Enjoy now or in the future. Done and done. Label-wise, it's cool. I dig it. I like their old anniversary labels, but this one does me proper enough too. So let's see what we can do with this sucker. Got a little wax up there. Doesn't look like it's too thick, so I should be able to get through it with relative ease. Kane, from what I remember, their wax used to be pretty horrific stuff to get through. But the last couple ones I've gotten, pretty easy stuff for the most part. While I kind of look into the camera and assume it's just going to pop right off me. Like a big, huge hit of like malted malt ball syrupy goodness just on popping that off. Man, there's so much wax everywhere. Anyway, let's see what the sucker has. Yeah, it's a crumbly white wax. I wouldn't be surprised if I get a little bit in my beer. It makes it taste better. I know most people don't know that. It's science. You know, you learn that after drinking. Wax makes everything taste better. So yeah, what do we have there? Rich, dark, what I like my coffee to look like. A head that's spinning relatively quick, pretty uniform tight bubbles, but man, she dropped off pretty damn quick. What is left behind is the darkness. I mean, you're talking about a big, heavy, dense, that thing will grind its feet right up in your couch, So, yeah, she be dark. Let's see what the nose has. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's the barrel I love so much. I rarely get this anymore. A lot of people, it seems like, have been hitting and missing a lot with barrels lately. A lot of breweries, either they're putting their own beers in barrels, they're not making beers to go into barrels, or they're just kind of flirting with barrel programs that they're not quite sure what they're doing. This is the barrel I covet. It's that marshmallow, coconut, vanilla, soft rubbed barrel smoky char thing that just absolutely adore. So, on the nose, it's just big, huge, rich chocolate. It's like a combination of chocolate syrup combined with baker's chocolate combined with milk chocolate. There's a lot of depth just in the chocolate alone. There's a nice soft roastiness, both from the malt and from almost like a coffee component. I'm sure it's just from the malt itself, but I'm getting this nice, rich kind of coffee note off of it. But the way that barrel works, the way you get the vanilla, the way you get that coconut, the way you get that rich, slightly smoky kind of barrel charriness, just kind of ties everything together. Yeah, rich, decadent, very, very, very slutty. It's just filthy, just like, ooh. I just want to huff it. That's not entertaining though. Just gonna dive into it. Cheers. I didn't even talk about the booze on the nose. Didn't have any kind of hints of heat. Just the ever so slightest touch of heat in the taste. In a good way. It kind of lets you know you're drinking something of high ABV. And that's touched a bit of spirit. And when the way it comes off, it actually tastes like the bourbon almost comes off slightly kind of more like cognac-y, porty kind of, and a little bit richer, a little bit denser, a little bit more almost like Venice-like. But it's still bourbon. You know what I mean? It's just like a really good bourbon as opposed to just a generic bourbon. The barrel comes off nice. That little bit of smoky churniness gets a little bit bigger than what the actual initial nose let you on, but never gets out of control. It's just big enough to kind of get you a little bit kind of, I don't know, make your kind of wiener move a little bit. There's a really beautiful mouthfeel to it. It's funny because they talk about a blend of stouts and porters, imperial porters. It kind of feels like a blend of stouts and porters. Porters inherently have this fluffy, creamy mouthfeel. Stouts, imperial stouts tend to lack that. It's one of the bigger kind of like delineation, between the two, the line drawn between the two. This is telling that. It's like, okay, you have a little bit of that fluffy creaminess you get in porters, but there's also kind of stout characters in there. So you're literally getting both portions of the show in there. That coffee and that chocolate melt and the taste to be one. Almost like it's like a chocolate covered, like a coffee bean. Nothing too crazy, nothing overly roasty, a little bit candied, so it's not like, almost like they left the fleshiness. It's a green bean. It's not like an overly roasted bean to where it's like hard and completely just toasty. There's a little bit of fleshy greenness left on there, almost like a little bit of like, it lends itself to like a little bit of kind of like, what am I trying to say here? Green pepper skins. That. So you're kind of getting that portion of the show. There's no, they don't even talk about coffee being in there, but that's the way it kind of comes off to me. What else? Yeah, see, this is why blending beers to me, this makes so much sense. Because what I assume, I don't assume they made like 9 different beers here. I assume they made 2 beers, maybe 3. They made the biggest, thickest, densest thing they could possibly make. They made the most well-rounded beer they possibly could make, and kind of balanced it, or blended it to the point where they're like, okay, we want that perfect amount of mouthfeel, check. We want that kind of nice balance between the stout and porter, check. We want that barrel to be really rich and sing and show its face, but not overpower the beer because the beer is still there, check. It's one of the more interesting things, a little side tangent, if you want to go check out Beer and Brewing magazine. John Hall did an interview with Mike Kane. I'm going to do one with him soon enough too. I actually talked to him about 2 weeks ago. Actually picking up these beers, and they're going to be launching a sour program, so I'm probably talk to him about that. But he kind of, I never thought about this as far as the barrel programs. His barrels are always so rich and so decadent and so vibrant, and he was kind of talking about the way he does his barrels, and he used to kind of keep them at like a controlled temperature. Now they just let them go and they let them rise and fall at temperature, and he believes that's one of the big kind of reasons why the barrel character in a lot of his beers come off that way, is because of that fluctuation in temperature. I'm going to say yes, because everything I have from, especially now going forward, the barrel program's just out of this world, super rich and super over the top and decadent. It's just a fantastic beer. I like it. I probably like it more than a lot of, I might like this more than like 19 Dons. That is just straight beautiful beer by itself, but it's also just marshmallow and a big stout and beautiful bourbon. This kind of has a little bit more depth to it, a little bit more complexity. Is it going to be better than maybe something like, Pisher Reverse, Object Permanence, or like maybe even like their other anniversary beer? Those tend to be a little bit different. But I would probably lean their base anniversary. The Belgian stuff probably does it for me a little bit more. But man, this is close. Yeah, absolutely fantastic beer. Mouthfeel, barrel character, the way spirit comes off. Oh, there's a little bit of wax floating in there. The right amount of heat to let you know you're drinking something big, but not hot in the way that it burns. The layers to that chocolate, the way the pseudo coffee comes off, everything about it, top notch, absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's an absolutely fantastic beer from an absolutely fantastic brewery. I've moved closer to Kane. Not because just to be closer to Kane, but I used to be 2.5 hours away. Now I am an hour and a half away, and that is a good thing. From their yeast-driven beers to their big, huge barrel-aged beers to their IPAs to everything, I'm a fan, and it continues to be that way. So, kind of glad I'm kind of close to these guys. So, you call that homerism? A lot of people say that, but it's kind of like people that love the great breweries out there, whether it be the West Vedelins of the world, the Hill Farmsteads of the world, the Traps of the world, the Canes of the world. It's it's kind of like hating the Patriots. You hate them because they win all the time. Well, they win all the time, so what are you gonna do? It's kind of where Kane kind of sits, at least for me. What about gushing over a beer? I haven't gushed this much over a beer as of late. It's kind of fun to do it because it means I'm fucking digging the shit out of it. So let's talk about it. I've covered all the points. There's even more depth to it. It's fantastic. You drink it. You pick out what you want from this. Is it one of the better barrel-aged dark beers I've had as of late? Yes. One of the best. Value and availability, $25 to $30 after taxes. That's a little steep for a lot of people. I don't have a problem with this beer. And leave you with, if you like will you like this beer? If you like beautifully well-made barrel-aged beers that just are an absolute pleasure to drink. You like barrel-aged stouts. You just like good beer. That's it. You like good beer. If you don't like this, you don't like good beer. Maybe. Some people don't like stouts, but you're just weird then. Anyway, there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing a podcasting thing. Interviewed Mike Kane a couple times actually. But that was on the old radio show. I'm going to be doing a little, probably catching up to him in an hour-long podcast format. So hopefully soon, keep an eye out for that. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying this big barrel-aged beer right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.